World. I hope everybody is doing well today. I don't really care if anybody ever sees this, but I just have to let this out. A couple of different things that I wanted to talk with you all about today as I was meditating and got a bit emotional this morning. So that's why my eyes look a bit glossy. Yes, I cry. And I'm happy that I do. I really reflect deeply and see all that life is. And as I was reflecting and journaling this morning, I wanted to share some of the things that came into my mind. The first of which has to do with just me, and then the other two, which have to do with others. For the longest time, food has been my biggest vice. It's been my emotional crutch. It's been the thing that I've enabled to control me. It seems like it's strangled me, and I can't get out of its grip. A week ago, I invested thousands of dollars in a coach. And the first thing that he does before he works with you in your business is he makes sure that you are the person that is able to execute on the business stuff. So what does that look like? It means that you have to get an excellent physical condition, because whatever you express on the inside is a representation of what's going on on the inside. So if I don't look good or feel good on the outside, that means there's something going on the inside. So he gave me a custom diet based around macronutrients. So it's 203 carbs a day, 158 grams of protein a day, and then only 40 grams of fat a day. And I've been doing this for the past week. And as I was sitting here reflecting, I just became overwhelmed with emotion, because this is the first time in years that I feel this proud, that I feel this amount of gratitude. I made like $20,000 in my business last month. That doesn't even touch the surface of how I feel about myself after just 1 week of staying committed to a healthier lifestyle, to eating healthy, to hitting these macros that I just described, those macronutrients. I'm able to look in the mirror at night and say, Devin, I'm proud of you for staying committed and to building the man for other people to emulate. But most importantly, the man that you're proud of at night when it's just you in your head. The ability to regulate my emotions. I recently took a personality assessment, and it ranked it was a character assessment rather, character strengths, and it was from 1 to 24. Number 1 was love of learning. Number 24 was self-regulation and self-control. I made a decision. I don't want that to be number 24. If we want to do things on an extraordinary level, we have to be able to regulate our emotions. So sitting here just becoming overwhelmed with emotions because I feel grateful. I feel proud. And I feel powerful. Because this is what true power feels like. The ability to look in the mirror and say, you did it. I want you to feel powerful too. Because that's some feeling. When for so long you have not been living up to what you know is what you're capable of. And then it just takes one decision. For me, it was an investment in a coach to say, I can no longer continue to allow who I've always been to dictate who I'm becoming. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you all. Second thing I wanted to share with you all, I went to a coffee shop that I oftentimes go to. And I go there, do some business stuff, create some content, plan out some content. And then afterwards, last night, I went to walk around. It's like a little downtown area. It's not big. And it was about 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And I was walking around. And as I had my headphones in, listening to some music, the only thought that came to my head was, Devin, you need to begin to talk to yourself better. Your self-talk needs to be different. The words that you're saying out loud has to be different. So I'm walking down what we call Broadway, and I get down to one end, I turn around, I come back to the other. I walk down to the other end, I turn back, I come down. And I do that about 3 or 4 times. Finally, I'm walking around, I see a lady on a bench, I continue to walk, I turn around, and I'm walking past her. And she calls over to me, she says, sir. And I say, hello, how are you, miss? And I walk over to her and I see in her hand, she has like a bunch of Bibles and all of it. So I figured that she was going to want to talk to me about God. I sat down and she said, son, have you ever been born again? Have you ever given your life to Christ? She was a nice old Southern lady. Have you ever given your life to Christ? And I said, yes, but not recently. And she says, honey, you know what you have to do in order to be born again and to give your life to Christ? I said, what is it? She said, all you got to do is confess it. I said, what do you mean? All you have to say is, God, I take you into my life and into my heart. That's what she said. She said, all you have to be willing to do is speak it. And I'm sitting there, holy, did God works funny. They say coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. Here I am just talking about the importance in my mind as I'm walking about self-talk and I have to talk to myself better, talk out loud better. And then this lady begins talking about the importance of talking, professing, and confessing God into your life. And she said, honey, you know what it says in the Bible, right? I said, no, what does it say in the Bible, miss? She said, Romans 10, chapters 9 through 10. She said, let me flip there through my Bible real quick, honey. Just wait 1 minute. So she goes to the Bible and she says, here, I want you to read this. I said, okay. So here it is. So I said, okay, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with your heart that you believe and are justified, and it is with your mouth that you profess your faith and are saved. So here I was, literally just talking in my head and out loud about how I have to change the way that I'm speaking to myself. And what does this say? If you declare with your mouth and believe in your heart. That hit me because she was sent to me from God. As I was about to get up, she shook my hand. She said, honey, what's your name? I said, my name's Devin. And she said, Devin, I ain't stopped nobody on these streets today besides you. Because God was calling me to talk to you. You can't make it up. That was powerful. So then I continued to walk after she and I got done speaking. And there was an homeless man that approached me. He said, excuse me, sir, you got any money? And I said, man, I don't got no money. I said, look at my pockets. I took out my pockets. I don't even got my wallet on me. All I got is my credit card. And he said, oh, man, no problem. And I said, well, what you need some money for? He said, I'm just trying to get something to eat. I said, all right, how about this? You and I go get something to eat together. Does that sound good? He said, all right, let's do it. So we start to walk down Broadway towards some of the restaurants. It's about 10 o'clock at this point. And a couple feet, I begin walking. I noticed to the left of us, there was a couple that was sitting there. And as we began to walk, the gentleman got up and he approached me with his hand out like this. And he said, sir, I saw what you just did. He said, you're a good man. He said, I don't know you. We've never met, but that's all I had to see for me to know that you are a good man. And that hit me. Because what I always talk about here on social media is that people are always watching you. I didn't know he was listening to our conversation on the bench with his wife. But he approached me and said, I saw what you just did. People are always watching you. You make the decision. What example do you set? So that was impactful to me. So me and Albert, the homeless man, we went to a place called Smoke, which is a barbecue restaurant. I already hit my macros for the day, so I couldn't get anything to eat. We got Albert a nice brisket melt with French fries. Sit down at the table. We're enjoying a nice time. And Now it's time to depart, right? Like it's getting late. We're both got to go. So he said, Devin, I learned a lot from you tonight. I said, what? I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, what'd you learn? He said, I learned how to be a man. I said, what do you mean? He said, Devin, you listen to me. I can't tell you the last time somebody listened to me. Instead of brushing me off, you stopped and you listened to me. You showed me what a man is. Whoa. It hit me like a brick. And it made me realize once again, you are always setting the example. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. You have the ability to set the example, to be the standard, to treat people with respect, dignity, to care for others, and to inspire other people. Because here's the thing, the gentleman that approached me that was sitting on the bench with his wife, he'll probably won't forget what I did. Now that's just something normal for me. That's just something that I do. But to him, it was wow. The point I'm trying to make is that your actions have ripple effects. And so does your inaction. Coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. People are always watching. And set the example.